This is MSI's Claw A8 Handheld, which has been redesigned with AMD's Ryzen Z2 Extreme processor. We recently saw this with Intel Lunar Lake, but this is AMD's Ryzen Z2 Extreme, the highest end APU in their new wave of chips. It's not just an internal upgrade, MSI actually took the opportunity to change and iterate on the design. One of my complaints with the last Claw was that I found the handles kind of pushed away from my hands and didn't really form into them very naturally. I think these more squarish grips kind of naturally form right into my palms, and I find this much more comfortable to hold. I think it's shaped a little bit more like the Asus Ally, but I think that's just kind of a natural shape for your hands. You'll notice these claw and dragon shaped and W grips on the thumbsticks. Those are actually optional. They're sort of big, chunky, rubberized grips you can put on if you find a chunkier, more textured grip more comfortable for your thumbsticks. I find them maybe a little large, but I do like the grip. The actual joysticks underneath don't have the big graphics on them. Another relatively small but important change is that since this is an AMD system, those USB-C ports no longer support Thunderbolt like the Lunar Lake-based Claw did, but there still are dual USB ports, and the rest of the connectivity is the same. Here at the booth, MSI is also showing us some pink, electric blue, and purple colors, which again, really bold. Those are not available for launch. MSI is going to lead out of the gate with the white and lime green, but they are experimenting with those. Probably would like to bring them along eventually. So, price and performance. Those are the big questions. That's why you would want to change a chip like this. Is the Z2 Extreme better or worse than the Intel Lunar Lake version, and will it cost me more or less money? Let's start with price. As we've heard a lot at this show, economic conditions have made final pricing sort of difficult, so we're going to wait and see exactly how much this costs. MSI told me that it might come in under the Lunar Lake version, maybe in the same ballpark. I guess that means there's a chance it also costs more, but they're hoping to get it under the price of the Lunar Lake model. As for performance, the story's actually pretty similar to pricing. There's no declarative winner, so to speak. I will have to firsthand test this myself, of course. Playing here at the booth, performance seems smooth enough, but I will obviously want to run some benchmarks, measure some frame rates, really get a definitive answer. For MSI's part, they do expect performance to sort of trade blows with the Lunar Lake version of this system. That might mean some games it performs better on the AMD version if it's optimized for that chip. In some cases, the Lunar Lake system is better. So again, not the exciting, this one is best answer that I have for you. I will give you an answer when I am able to test it myself. In addition to the new handle design, it is actually a little lighter, which I do appreciate. I think those two things in combination do make this much more comfortable to hold for a long session. Reminds me more of the original ROG Ally. The iterative version of that made it a little larger and chunkier. I actually prefer the original version. A little bit more Nintendo Switch-like. This is obviously a larger, machine than the Switch ever was, but I do find the sort of new combination of the size and the weight much more comfortable. I could see myself playing on this for some time and enjoying this big sort of bright screen here. I mentioned the Extreme is the top chip in AMD's new Z2 stack. There's the Z2 Regular, the Z2 Go, and the Z2 Extreme at the top. This is running that top option. Again, we'll have to see exactly how it stacks up to Lunar Lake, but that should, with its 8 cores, 16 threads, enable it to perform pretty well. I know people are excited to see these Z2 chips in these handhelds. This is our first chance to get a look at that. When I first heard MSI was adding the Z2 Extreme to this handheld, I was excited, but I thought that would kind of be it. It turns out they changed more of the design than I thought. The new handles, different colors, and a lighter weight make this more comfortable. I could really see playing on this for a longer session. It reminds me more of the original Asus ROG Ally. The Ally X kind of bulks up the handles and bulks up the system away from what I liked about it. This reminds me more of that original size and weight. It's more like a Nintendo Switch though, obviously a bit bigger, and I find it much more comfortable to hold. I can imagine playing this for a long time. That's all from the MSI booth here at Computex 2025. I've been Matthew Buzzi. Check out more at PCMag.com.